from Nashville, Tennessee. It's time for another episode of Tips, Tactics, and Tools for a Safer Tomorrow, where all things related to your safety and security are discussed, detailed, and delivered to you. You may leave with a tip that saves you money or a tactic that saves your life. So here are your hosts, owner and founder of Defense Systems, Brink Fiddler, and owner and operator of Herring Technology, Tom Herring.
Hey guys, welcome to this edition of Tips, Tactics, and Tools for a Safer Tomorrow. With you as always, Brink Fiddler, owner and founder of Defense Systems. Although today our typical co-host, Tom Herring, is not with us, and sitting in for Tom is Adam McIntyre, also known as our Director of Training for Defense Systems. Tom had to punt at the last minute, and so we brought in the big guns to fill his seat, although his shoes are not fillable, Tom, so if you listen to this, nobody thinks we can actually fill your shoes. But Adam's joining us today to coast. I'm happy today to welcome a gentleman named Stephen Meador to the podcast. Full disclosure, Stephen does work for us a little bit part-time, but Stephen, as in the past, has formerly been with Chattanooga Police Department as well as Metro Nashville PD, and has got some interesting background with that, and especially with what we do as a company. So first, thanks for being here.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So how your law enforcement career total between Chattanooga and Metro, what span are we talking, like years?
Right at 16 years.
Okay. So when did you start with Chattanooga PD?
So even if I can take it a little bit further back than that, I was actually reserve, right? So back in the early 2000s, a lot of people wanted to be the police. And when I was applying everywhere, some of the smaller departments, they wanted you to have your post certificate. And there was the hiring freeze back in the 2000s, right? It was just the economy. So I put myself through the academy first, just it was at Cleveland State.
Sure.
Went through the academy. I was a volunteer cop, basically, is what it was, just to get my foot in the door because it was so hard. So that was in 2009. And so pushed that for at the end of 2009. So pushed that for about a year. And then I started Chattanooga in 2011.
Okay. It's probably a lot easier to get in the door at that point.
Oh, yeah. A lot easier.
Already post-certified. Yeah,
yes,
I forgot about that. That a lot of, and for people that don't know or don't understand law enforcement, most agencies do not have a police academy. They count on one of the state academies, like what you attended, or the state academy, Toledo is called, here in Nashville, to post-certify their officers, which is Police Officers Standards and Training Commission is what POST stands for. So your bigger departments, your Metro Nashville PD, they have their own police academy, but these other smaller agencies, even mid-sized agencies, don't, just because it's a lift to put together an academy and staff it and gun range and just all the stuff that comes with it. So, okay. So you started Chattanooga PD in 2011. I guess like everybody else started off in patrol.
Yeah, and even Chattanooga had their own academy, but it was so hard to get into, right? Okay. And how I kind of finagled my way through, I was working for, a smaller department, and we went to a funeral, and I saw one of the chiefs. I was like, hey, man, like, when you hiring again? And that's how that connection brought up. He said, here's my phone number. If you don't hear back from me by Monday, call me. And I called him Monday, and I was fast-tracked into the academy. I believe that it was from, hey, I've already done this just a little bit, just a year or so, and they got me the final spot in the academy in Chattanooga.
Oh, right on. Okay, yep. So then you went through Chattanooga's police academy too?
I did.
Got it. And then that was 2011?
11.
Okay. And then how long is their academy? Is it like Metro?
It was 6 months. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, do you stay there?
No, you were lucky enough to go home.
I got it.
Yeah.
Same. Okay. As you know, because you've done both.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So you get out the academy, and you go through for people that don't know, you ride with a training officer, sometimes 2 and 3, depends on the agency. I guess you did all that and then landed yourself in patrol.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep. So we worked in East Chattanooga. So I was only over there maybe about a year and a half or so. We had a gang unit in Chattanooga. There were 10 officers there. They wanted to increase it to 20. I was the 21st pick, so I didn't get picked on the first round there. But after about 2 or 3 months, one guy was able to, they bounced him out and they brought me back in. So I worked for gangs almost a year.
Okay. So obviously you were a go-getter. I mean, most people that don't know the law enforcement side of things, you don't go to like a gang unit or a specialized unit unless you really want to go do something.
You
want to get after it. You want to keep crazy hours and not see your family and go to court all the time,
Right.
but have a lot of fun. So then obviously you were a go-getter, and that meant something. And I didn't say this in the beginning of the show, and I guess I probably should have, but one thing we're going to talk about are the crux of why we wanted to have you on today. Your background is unique in that you've been involved in your own shooting incident, which is not completely unique, but then additionally you've responded to 2 actual active shooter attacks, one at each agency, which is rare. I mean, that's most officers go a lifetime and don't respond to an actual active shooter attack.
Sure.
And you've responded to 2 that were with actual victims and all the things on top of the shooting. So I'd like to take it in chronological order if that's okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Just, kind of go down that road with you and circle back around and after the events and just talk about the mental health piece that we talked about off air beforehand. Sure. But what year was your shooting, and just kind of start from the top with that? Like what's the background there? Yeah,
for sure. August 17th, 2013. It was a Saturday, and I was working gangs at the time. For some reason, people had taken off, it was a Saturday, whatever it was. And so there were just a few of us out there, maybe 5 or 6, not a ton. And I was actually eating lunch or dinner, whatever, with one of my best friends. I was working K-9 at the time. And almost across the street, there was a robbery at a nail salon. We finished eating, and they called for K-9, so I just went with them. Like I said, one of my good friends, it's where I wanted to go, and further down the line ended up going back to K-9. But go over there. There's is like a shopping center type deal, yeah. And we find some surveillance camera, find the guy running around the front of a Subway store. We track him down, and it was really muddy. There's a large wall in the complex wall also, and maybe 6 feet wide, and you could see where the guy was running, just his feet print going over top of air conditioning units. And then on the left side there's a wall there, and you could see where he climbed up the wall, just his feet print, the muddy feet print. And it was like a motel type deal there. So we go over to the motel, talk to the manager there, try to get some video of the suspect coming in, and we find him walking into the breezeway. Didn't really see him leave. We get the master list of the rooms and figure out who's who and who's probably not this guy or whatnot. Fast forward, we find a guy that kind of fit the description. Patrol did. Put him in the car, like, hey man, did you do this? No. Do you give us permission to go into your room? Yes. Do you have the key? Yes. Gives us the key. Go up there. It's myself, the other officer, and a robbery detective. Go up, knock on the door, no response. Use the key to open the door, and as we start to open the door, there's a foot behind it. The robbery detective then starts pushing on the door. Well, I grab him and pull him back, and as soon as we start to pull back, the door opens and a pistol sticks out the door and then shuts. So we back up. It's outdoor, right? So it's not like the true hotel. It's a motel where the doors are outside, and we're on the second floor, and there's a hallway, and I'm behind a brick, basically, column. The detective's on my back. He doesn't have a vest on, just normal detective wear.
Like just plain clothes? Plain
clothes. Okay. I mean, he's got a collared shirt on. He's got the Chattanooga emblem on it, khaki pants, stuff like that.
Got it.
And I'm behind this column, and in front of me, there's like a walkway, and the other officer is in front of me down that walkway. So we kind of have a little bit of an angle on him. The other officer's trying to talk to the suspect. I'm behind the column. The detective's over my shoulder, and so we kind of have 2 guns going down this way, and the other officer's trying to talk to him, still there, trying to get more people coming up to help us, basically. I see a sergeant in front of me down the hallway, and he goes from my left to my right. He just kind of waves like, hey, here I am, but he's out of the way. Fast forward a little bit. There's a little bit of communication going back and forth. The guy says, "Hey, I'm an FBI agent. I have a CI or confidential informant inside the room."
This is your suspect?
Suspect, yep.
Claims to be an FBI agent?
FBI agent.
Okay. That's one way to do it.
Yeah. And he has a badge and he's holding it out. So his back is to us, the way the door is he's got a badge holding it out. Saying, "Here's I'm an FBI agent. I'll paraphrase, you're screwing up my investigation. I need y'all to leave." Well, the other officer says, "Hey man, cool. I'm not here to mess you up. Just come out here. Let me talk to you. And then we'll get out of your hair," basically. Mm-hmm. He says, "All right, man, if you want me to come out, here I come." And so he came out and he started shooting. I just remember
At you? Or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. When he came out, he took one shot out and then ran. So I remember just the percussion, right? And it almost stopped instantly. Everything stopped. And, it's like you're standing over top of one of those great big fireworks, right? You're not expecting it. You can feel it in your chest. Boom. He had a Taurus Judge.
For the audience, that's a revolver that basically shoots a 410 shotgun shell out of it. Like and if you don't know what that is, it's a very large caliber for a hand. I mean, it's huge. Yeah. So we returned fire back, and it's almost like I did a slow blink, right? And then when I opened my eyes, it was all I can remember right now. When I opened my eyes back up, it was just full of smoke, right? The hallway, even though it was outdoors, full of smoke. All right. I looked back behind me and the detective was gone. Okay. I
looked at my buddy in front of me. It's like, "Hey man, you good?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good. Are you good?" Well, I had just had a knee injury and I'd just gotten back maybe like 2 weeks before. Well, I had a major pain, sharp pain on the inside of my knee, the same place where I'd hurt it prior to. I had khaki like 511 pants on, part of our gang uniform. And I remember looking down and I was rubbing my leg and he's like, "Are you good? Are you good?" And I'm like, "I think so," because I don't see any blood, right? There's no hole. Because you would be able to see blood on the khaki pants. The thing I can think of right now is like when he shot, I pulled everything to the left and my knee hit the corner of that brick, right?
Got it.
So he's like, "Come on, let's go into that room." So him and I go into the room, clear it. There's nothing there. I told him, I'm like, "Hey man, reload." So we reload because now the guy's gone. I don't know where he's at. As we are inside the room, we hear more shooting. So we come out and I go right. That's the only way he could have gone, is away from us, right? And so as I go right, when I round the corner, there's where that sergeant is, the supervisor that I saw earlier. And he's on his hands and knees and he has blood pouring out of his face. I'm like, "Hey man, are you good?" He's like, I'm hit. How bad is it?" So I'm like, "Hey dude, like it's bad, but you're going to be all right. Sit up." So I had him sit up. I took my vest off. I wrapped his face up and he's like, "Who's here with me? I can't see. I was like, "Hey man, it's me and the other officer, Zach Moody." I was like, "It's me and Zach Moody." He's like, "All right." He said, "I'm going to be fine. Give me somebody to come sit with me." Excuse my language, but he said, "And go get that mother." That's what he said.
Yeah, amen.
I'm like, "All right, cool." So I put my vest back on. Another officer comes up there and sits with him. The whole time my brain's telling me that was the shooting that I heard, right? That he got shot in the face. I didn't find out later, but that wasn't the case. What happened when the guy was running, he rounded the corner. The supervisors were there. He heard all the gunshots and he's like, "Well, that's it. I guess we're going to work this one." And the guy pops out in front of him. So the sergeant reaches up and grabs a hold of him. And as he grabs a hold of him, the suspect pistol whips him a couple times in the face. And that's where all the blood and everything, broke his nose, all that good stuff. And he was telling me, "Hey man, I'm hit. How bad is it? I can't see." That's literal terms of I've been hit, right? My brain was telling me something completely different.
Of course.
Right? Sure. So this dude goes around, and the detective behind me, when he went back, he wasn't running away. He says that he saw where he went. He was going to go cut him off. I never saw where he went. I'm sure my eyes were closed or something. And when they went around to the backside, they shot each other again.
Okay.
So that was the shooting that I heard inside the room. He had ran out of ammo. At the time we had like SIG P220s, right? You only hold like 8 plus 1. So out of 2 different shootings, he ran out of ammo. Went back behind the wall to reload, came back out, and the dude was gone again. So the original guy that we found was sitting in the back of a police car that gave us the keys. When the shooting started, the patrol officer ran upstairs to come help us, which I appreciate. But his car was at the bottom of the stairs with the door wide open, the keys inside of it.
Oops.
Yep. So guy comes down the stairs, jumps in the car, takes off. Now, granted, he's been shot 2 or 3 times already, in the back, in the legs. I've got the in-car camera where he's tying tourniquets on his legs, driving. Basically,
this is your suspect driving the police car.
Yep,
with his buddy in the backseat. Tying tourniquets on his legs. Got it. Can't make it up.
Yeah, makes some mistakes and goes down into Georgia, and they are waiting on him. For anybody that doesn't know anything about Georgia, those guys don't play at all, 0%, especially when you're shooting at the cops, right? And I remember I get in the car, I'm going down, I'm trying to chase this guy. And we are going so incredibly fast as we can go. And I've got my foot trying to brake the gas pedal because I'm going to catch you. I am probably the angriest I've ever been in my life at that particular time. And I remember it's raining, and we're going as fast as these old Crown Vics can run. And nothing crazy, right? I mean, he's got the same car we do. Like, it's just a train of 100 cars doing 120 miles an hour down 75. Each intersection we pass, there's GSP, Georgia State Patrol, they're just waiting, right? And I remember I'm like, man, we have to catch this guy, right? And I remember looking in my rearview mirror, and here comes Georgia State Patrol, and I'm going as fast as I can go. And he's in the middle lane, and he just passes me. He's probably doing 150, right? Catches the guy, and I mean, he's behind him for a little bit, comes up and just pits him, spins him out, goes up.
Pursuit intervention technique for the audience that doesn't know.
Right.
It's when the police pull up next to you and basically kiss your bumper and spin you out in the middle of the road.
Spin him out. Goes up and he wrecks. He backs into a tree. They nose into him. He ends up committing suicide inside the car there. So,
what about dude in the backseat?
He, as frustrating as it was, he was handcuffed, so he went on a wild ride.
I'd say.
But
see that playing out in my head. Right now.
Oh yeah, they they didn't file any charges on him at the time. He's found himself in some trouble since then, but
he was fine from the crash. What I was getting at.
Oh
okay.
yeah,
like medically.
Yeah, okay. No worries.
Got it. Okay. Well, I wanted to pull your string and let you go, but I had a lot of questions along the way.
Sure.
When he came out and shot at you guys and said, "We returned fire." So that's you and the detective that were behind you,
and
the robbery guy,
right? And Zach, we all 3 shot.
Okay. Where was Zach in relation to the 2 of you? Was he in that kind of the L we talked about?
He was in the L, right?
Okay.
If we're down the hallway, there's another hallway kind of to the left. Well, the suspect's hotel room was 2 doors down, like on my hallway and to the right. So we didn't have a complete L. He was on the outside of that.
Okay, that makes sense. And then, as it turns out, the robbery detective, when the dust settled, he had gone, I guess, to cut off because he's the one that
he's the one that saw him. Engaged him again.
So it was you and Zach that cleared the room.
Correct.
And then heard shots outside the room.
Outside.
Thought, okay, great. Okay,
yep.
Got it.
And going back, I mean, there's one. I mean, it's a strike mark on the bricks that was behind us. I mean, it's perfect. He just missed us by, 2 feet. He shot down the center of the hallway.
Yeah.
And we're over to the left behind this brick column, What
kind of ammo was in his gun?
It was the 410, yeah.
But, I mean, was it pellets? Was it buckshot? Was it a slug?
It was a slug.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's the other thing for the audience that doesn't know. A 410 shotgun shell, you have options, right? You have birdshot, which is like little BBs if you're bird hunting or whatever, and then you have buckshot, which is, a more tactical round, and then you have slugs, which is a extremely large bullet to come out of a.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it'd be a bad day. So, how many shots did he fire at you guys?
He just fired one.
Okay.
Or to at us on the front side, just one. On the back side, I don't know how many.
With him and the robbery detective.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it. Well, how does Chattanooga handle the officer involved stuff? I mean, because every department does it a little different, but I mean,
yeah, So, I really relied a lot on the other officer, Zach. He had been in one earlier. I was also frustrated because, so, like I said, we were a little bit short-staffed that day. I really wasn't planning on doing much, especially this.
Of course.
And so chasing this guy, my gas light was on E, right? I almost ran completely out of gas.
That would have been embarrassing.
So then I have to use my own credit card to stop in Georgia somewhere to get gas on the police car. But anyway, we come back. We do a walkthrough, call your FOP or your attorney. Came in and did a walkthrough basically with crime scene. Hey, where were you standing? What did you do? Kind of really nonchalant type deal. Come back to our headquarters. They had you have to meet with the crime scene there. They took your gunshot residue on your hands, take pictures of you while you're standing there, look what your uniform looks like type deal. You go over major crimes or our homicide unit requested an interview, but our attorneys said, hey, thanks, but no thanks. They'll get with you in about 2 to 3 days because they wanted us to have a sleep cycle before we gave an interview.
Had you guys ever trained together for an event like that? Or is it all kind of individual training when you guys go through the academy? But for an event like that, where you're in a shootout and obviously, whoever responds to that call, a lot of people might not know each other. Had you guys ever trained together for something like that specifically?
Not together like that. Luckily, Chris, the detective, he was a Marine Corps veteran, right? And Zach was in K-9. So they have their own stuff, but us three, no. And that's one of the first, maybe second times I'd ever met the detective.
No, it's something pretty unique even after Covenant was a lot of people that responded when the building, they didn't know each other.
They never knew each other.
But it's great, emphasis on the academy that everyone's on the same standard, same operating procedure, so when they go on patrol, if they do have to unite and fight together, then hey man, we're all on the same page and it's not different tactics or you watch this YouTube video versus this YouTube video.
Sure.
So
yep,
I could personally, coming from the military, I mean, I had my 12-man team, we trained together every day.
Right.
So I could see the uncertainty at times and being nervous of like, oh, I'm responding to this call. Who's going to be there? Joe, Bob, and George?
Right.
Like, well, I don't know Joe, Bob, and George.
Right.
So how's this going to go down? At least we have a radio and they got guns. We can communicate. Sure. But that's crazy. A lot of respect for you guys for kind of putting it out there like that where you guys don't know each other, but you guys link up and be like, yep, same mission, same goal.
That's right.
Let's go do this. So.
Yep. No, it worked out, I guess, as well as it could, especially on our side.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's close, but I mean, they give you, time off and all this stuff like they should.
They do. Yeah. I went through a critical incident stress debriefing afterwards, so they get 7 days off. I went through a debriefing during that. A little weird. I think it was abnormal, and I know they don't usually do it, but I actually came back to work before I gave an interview. Which was different, right? Because they always tell you, like, don't talk about it. Don't say anything to anybody. You're not allowed to talk about it. And now here I am back to work before I've even given an official interview. But I think that was just schedules lining up and all that stuff. So,
okay. That's 2013, right?
That's right. Yep.
You're in the gang unit still. And then let's fast forward a little bit to the next event, which, would be I'll just let you tell the story. I know it, but.
Yeah, for sure. So I leave the gang unit, multiple different reasons. I know K-9's going to open up. So I leave gangs, ended up going to K-9. Yeah, that was a blast. I had some of the most fun right there. So the week of July 16th, that whole week,
What year? Sorry.
2015.
Got it.
So when I worked, my normal shift was 8 p.m. to 3 a.m., right? So, but that week I was in a training class for dignitary protection. And day shifter hours, in the middle of summer, you're just blazing hot. Come back, and this day is a Thursday, and we have our big practicum, our big final on Friday. But Thursday's range days, you're learning fighting from vehicles, driving, just that kind of stuff for the principal in the backseat.
Also known as the person you're protecting.
Correct. Yeah, the person.
Well, we all speak the same language.
Sure.
People that listen to this don't know what a principal is. Like principal of a school.
School, yeah, yeah, for sure.
Now the person you're dignitary, what they're referred to as a principal.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm in my car. I think we're going up next, or we're 3 back, and I got the radio on. I hear shots fired go out. Chattanooga's broken up into three dispatch channels, and I wasn't doing anything, so I just had it on scan, and I heard it come out, heard the tones come out, just kind of get everybody's attention. And at the time, I'm like, well, shots fired really doesn't raise a bell for me. I'm just kind of listening to it. Well, then all of a sudden I hear someone, I don't know who it is. It ended up being Sean O'Brien, but says, I've got him on Amnicola heading inbound. So I'm like, well, hey, if he's coming inbound, that's coming towards us, like coming towards downtown, like where our range were, where we were doing. I'm like, well, I'm going to go get me some of this, right? Like, just a true,
Yep.
like, I'm going to go get this guy. So I was like, hey, we'll be back. And so I tear off out of there, right? Going down, and I hear just kind of versions of the radio where he's pointing to the river park at the Marine Center. Well, the river park in Chattanooga is going to be a guess, but 20 miles, right? I'm like, who is this guy? Like, the Marine Center, like, what boat dock are we talking about, right? Yeah. Well, I'm a big, it aggravates me when people talk on the radio a lot, right? And so I never say, so I never say anything. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to be the second or third guy there. That's a given. So I'll just look for all the little cars with blue lights on top and figure out, okay, well, that's where I'm supposed to be, right? So I'm going down Amnicola, and I hear Sean key up, active shooter. So I'm like, okay. In my head, I know what's going on. I know it needs to happen. I know what's going on with those guys. So, just police cars everywhere. It's like the Daytona 500 going down Amnicola Highway, just police cars passing everybody in the shoulders. Some cars are stopped, directing traffic, whatever. And so I get there, and there's already probably 20, 30 cars there. And as I'm getting out, that's when they say, hey, shooter's down, or, Well, as soon as that happened, there's command staff guy. He's like, okay, it's all over. Everybody go back away. Go away. We don't need you. And at this time, like, I'm in training uniform. Like, you don't know who I am, right? There's 500 of us that work for Chattanooga. You don't know who I am. I've got a heavy vest on. I'm like, who's this guy? Right? Like, no, I'm leaving. Like, I'm going back in. So I get there, and I'm looking around trying to figure all this out. Like, there's a car that had rammed the gate. I see Sean's car there. Like I said, there's probably 20 other police cars here. Some guys are still hiding behind their car. Some people in the woods. Just all over the place. Well, I remember walking up, and, training, right? I have a bottle of water in my back pocket. I remember this. And they say, hey, unless you have a heavy vest on or a helmet, you're not allowed inside the gate.
Heavy vest, real quick, for people that don't know, there's different levels of armor that cops wear, and the heavy gear is more designed to protect you from rifle caliber.
That's right.
Weapons versus handguns. So that's what he means by heavy gear.
Right.
Yeah.
And 99% of all of Chattanooga didn't have heavy vests.
Did you have it just because you were K9?
I had it because with K9, you would help with the SWAT team.
Yeah.
And so that's the only reason I had it.
Got it. Okay.
So I had this heavy vest and I didn't have a helmet, right? So I'm like kind of sort of minding what you told me, but kind of sort of not. Like I'm halfway there, but I know I'm not hiking all the way back to my car. And I see an officer there and he's a patrol guy. And I was like,
See him where? Sorry.
Do what?
You see a guy there. Where's there?
So inside in the parking area of the NOSC. And
explain NOSC.
The Naval Operations Center of where the actual shooting occurred.
Okay.
So he's standing in the parking lot just pointing his pistol at a window. His name's Kyle. And I holler at him, I'm like, Kyle, I'll trade spots with you. Here's a bottle of water. And so he's like, okay, see ya, dude. And he walks out, hand him the water. Now here I am. I go down the right side of the NOSC, the building of where it's at, and I don't see anybody around the corner. And there's a fence. Go into the fence, and immediately I see two Marines laying there.
Both are victims, I guess.
Both are victims.
Okay.
Really confused at how they ended up like that, right? But at the end of the day, one was pulling the other, right? So just how they landed, it was really weird for my brain to comprehend.
So you're talking about their positioning of their
right.
bodies. Got it.
I noticed a lot of shell casings. And just people kind of just gathered around, just kind of standing there, almost, shocked, like, what is going on? So they come back on the command post, says, hey, everybody come back out to the command post. Everybody leave what you're doing, come back out to the command post. So I left. They say, hey, who has been in who can go with our bomb squad? I was like, me, I'll go. So one of the bomb squad guys was my FTO. One of them
field training officer.
Field training officer when I first started. Great guy, right? We go in. He's like, hey, take me to the car. So take him to the car. He says, whatever you do, don't touch anything, right? Go to the car because we're thinking it's a car bomb. So I'm standing there. He's like, hey, man, just cover my back. Because originally we were getting told on the radio that there's at least 2 or 3 shooters.
Okay.
We get there, and I'm still looking for this second or third shooter. The reason they think that is because the main suspect had earplugs in. They thought he had communications with other people. We're also getting information on the radio that we have active shooter events all over Chattanooga, basically. So immediately I'm thinking it's kind of like a 9/11 type deal. We go through, he's looking at the car, and mind you, I'd been in this training course where the day before we were learning about car bombs, right? So now I have all this imagery in my head of what it could do. Now, fast forward, here I am. And, I can hear him opening the doors. I was like, oh, man, what are we doing right here, dude? And opening doors, the vehicle appeared clear at the time. His name is Greg Chambers. He's like, hey, do you know where the suspect is? I said, yes. He's like, take me to him. I said, okay. Go down, take him to the suspect. And it's just him and I.
The suspect's dead.
Suspect's dead.
Got it.
He's laying there. at my feet. Well, where he went down at is between a bunch of big, heavy duty, like deuce and a half, big, Army trucks, I guess they're not Army, sorry, Marine Corps, those type really large trucks. And we haven't cleared everything, got in the back of them. We know there's, at the time, four Marines that have been killed. And so Greg gets down and he's like, hey man, he has a vest on. Just like that. And I'm like, okay, cool. So he's like, I'm going to take it off. I'm like, all right. And I'm still like looking over his back to make sure somebody else doesn't pop out of these trucks.
Oh.
And all I can hear is the Velcro coming off. It's like one piece at a time, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
Not just Velcro coming off, just a piece of Velcro, the click, click, click. And I'm like, man, hey man, hurry up and rip this thing off, dude. Like this is
like a Band-Aid.
Let's just go, right? And he stops. And I remember it's deafening quiet. My ears are ringing, trying to hear something. And he stops and he says, hey man, you need to leave. I was like, Greg, I'm not leaving. He's like, no, man, you need to go right now. I was like, Greg, I'm not leaving you. And he says, I was like, if something happens to you, I can't pull you away, right? Like, he's a bigger guy. And he says, if something happens to me, you can scoop me up in a bucket. Get off my crime scene.
Okay.
And I said, Greg, I'm not leaving. We can figure this out later. I'm not leaving. So it ended up being a load-bearing vest, not a suicide vest that we were all originally thought. After that, kind of a little bit of a blur, but I remember leaving after we find out that he wasn't going to blow up and meeting up with Sean O'Brien. Talked to him for a minute. And then I pretty much hung by his side for the next probably 6 or 7 hours.
Sean's?
Yes.
Yeah. Now y'all were, we know this, but y'all were close friends.
We were close
prior
friends.
to this. I mean, yeah. So, okay. That makes sense. Let's talk about heavy gear. You were at training, so you had all your stuff with you. Of course, you're not going to be in regular uniform in training.
Correct.
But your heavy gear identifies you as police.
Yes.
You have your police car, you have your gear, you're on duty, all those things. So there was no expectation from anyone for you to respond.
Correct.
Except yourself, right? I mean, you self-dispatched, right? And we do that a lot, right? Because and I'm sure the military is the same way. I mean, you'd
be surprised.
Same with police, but
if it happens, if it pops off, I'm going.
I'm going.
My friends are in danger. The public's in danger. I'm working. This is my job. It may not be my job right this second, but I'm going to make it my job.
That's right.
It is my job. Not everybody's wired that way in law enforcement. We know that.
We know that.
I'd say conservatively, 80% are not wired that way.
Conservatively?
Yeah. I think that's maybe 90, but we'll say 10% are. And those are the people that choose those kind of jobs in canine and gangs and narcotics and SWAT and all the things where you're going. It's kind of like you're not leaving Greg, right? Like
that's right.
A lot of guys wouldn't even have volunteered for that. Number one, not just from an equipment perspective, but from a confidence perspective.
Sure.
Not cockiness. There's a big difference, right? You were confident enough in yourself and in your skill set to say, not only am I responding, but I'm going in and I'm going back in and I'm going to do whatever job needs to be done, regardless of my quote unquote role or position in this department. And I think that says a lot about your level of preparedness. I mean, in your mind and what you had done as far as training goes, as far as, all the things, your experience and everything else, I think that goes a long way in giving you the confidence to that. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I assume that's true. Like why you were wired that way?
Yeah, sure. And on top of that is I'm not going to let anything happen to you. right? If it happens to you, it's going to happen to me too. And I was so hyper-focused on everything, right? You know, I say it was deafening quiet. I'm sure I could hear, but my brain was so focused on my sight and everything else that I couldn't hear anything. I could hear the Velcro, but I'm not going to let anything happen to you. Not while I'm here.
Yeah.
You know, and so when Greg and I went in, and it will come back again at Covenant, but I'm not going to leave you by yourself. I don't care. You're not, if something did happen, you're not going to be alone. I'm going to be here with you.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and that's, you know, I mean, I think you guys are wired the same, right?
No, I mean, amongst law enforcement and military, I'd say, you know, let's just say 95% of the population is a brotherhood. Like,
oh, for sure.
Yeah, something might happen to you, but I'm going to be right there, like you said, right there with you. And if it happens to both of us, then that's how it was meant to be.
Yeah,
so.
For sure. And that's what I told, you know, Sean is, those men that died that day, they were all there together. There were one or two that didn't leave, that made everybody else leave, and they died with their boots on tight, like it's just us. And it's that mentality where it's, I don't care what happens to me, everybody else leave, I'll deal with it. We're going to handle this one way or the other.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's strong. It is not, it is a brotherhood to your point, but not a lot of officers are wired that way. And I think that's fair to say. I'm not bashing them. I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's
sure.
The guys that aren't wired that way know that, and they don't go put themselves in those positions. That's and that's fine too. I don't want you to put yourself in that position. If I'm downrange and you're not the guy to come downrange with me, don't come downrange with me.
Right.
Give me a Stephen Meador.
Sure.
You know, give me an Adam McIntyre all day. Like, don't give me a Barney Fife or whatever. I mean, we may love him to death, but we know his limitations, and he knows his limitations too. So, I think there's a lot to be said for again, the confidence level you have in your ability based on your training and experience, not cockiness. That's two different things. To feel comfortable enough to go downrange, and on top of that, it's a loyalty thing. I'm sure there were guys there that felt the same loyalty thing, but didn't have the confidence in their capability or their equipment or their training or whatever else to put themselves downrange and put themselves in harm's way multiple times. And that's fine too. I mean,
sure.
Know your limitations and know the limitations of your equipment and your training. So I think that goes a long way. And then on top of being wired that way, I think those two, I mean, again, you tell me if I'm wrong, but when I talk to people about all this stuff, those two things play out together. It's not just a mindset, and it's not just preparation. It's those two things put together that, and that was ultimately a lot of what came out of our episode with Collazo, you know, and what he was talking to himself about on the way to Covenant and all that kind of stuff. So, and I kind of like to go ahead and jump there just because you briefly mentioned it, and kind of the whole point of this is like the amount of stuff you've responded to that, like most officers go a lifetime and aren't involved in a shooting. I mean, I was there 18 years, narcotics work most of that, done over 500 entries. How have I not been involved in a shooting? I mean, I was a point guy. Like it's just, so the fact that you've not only been involved in a shooting, but responded to 2 actual active shooter attacks, not just from a physiological perspective on what you went through, right? And we'll talk about that here in a few minutes after Covenant, but also just the danger level, right, of responding to an actual event, you know, a mass casualty event where multiple people are being killed. So fast forward, you leave Chattanooga PD and you come to Metro Nashville Police. And on March 27, 2023, where were you working inside of Metro PD?
So I was a Metro K9.
Okay. Were you day shift or?
I was day shift.
Okay.
Yep.
So obviously, you know, I know, I can tell you exactly what time the call went out. It was 10/14/24. Where were you when they took all airs?
So I was in our office. I had another K9 guy, and he had just finished working out and running. So he was still in PT clothes. So we would agree like, hey, today's your day, today's my day. We would just kind of switch back and forth. Whoever is working out, they can have that time. They would run with their radio, but I would I would answer calls, a canine call if something came out while he was working out. I'd obviously tell him like, hey, this is where we're going, whatever. So I was at the office listening. He just finished and he had sat down to cool off. The call came out. And so I'd flipped over the first call that came out. They called for, I can't remember, 713, 723, that Madison air, right? And then it said switch to Midtown, 33 Burton Hills Road, or Boulevard, 33 Burton Hills. I'd never heard of that, right? I'd done FTO in Midtown before. And I'm like, man, where is that? So I had actually gone to my car to look because I wanted to see what the call text was. Prior to that, we had a couple of the swatting calls, the fake, active shooter calls. As soon as I pulled it up, I could see how many callers there were. I remember the call text, white male, dark clothes, khaki pants, camouflage, long guns. I'm like, this is real. Like when you've already have 10, 15, 20 callers, this is real. So I didn't even go tell the other canine handler. I just got in and went, right? Where our canine office is, to leave it is pretty hilly, right? It's kind of like a one-way, windy road.
Yep.
And I felt bad for the academy, right? Because it's like, right at 10:20, right? And they're getting ready to go. I just remember them marching or running, right? And here I come, man. I'm just blowing through everything.
So that everybody else knows that canine office is on the same grounds as the police training academy.
That's right.
So they have an academy class of recruits that are in PT clothes, probably.
Oh yeah,
marching, running.
They're learning
on the same road, probably that you're.
I'm getting on down the road.
Yeah.
And so, as I pull out, I'm getting on from Jefferson onto the interstate there, and I knew I was close-ish. I knew how big Midtown is, and I know how busy Midtown also is. I don't know where that first officer is. I don't know where he's coming from. So I remember I have my oldest daughter goes to school in Midtown.
Okay.
My wife was pregnant at the time, our second. I remember calling home and telling her, hey, this is what's going on. I remember calling my dad saying, hey, this is what's going on.
Is it on the way?
On the way.
Okay.
Kind of like my last, if something happens, I love you.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
I don't know if that was the right thing to do or not, because then that just created grief. And for them, I haven't really talked to them about that phone call, but I just remember doing that. But in my head after that, I was okay.
Sure.
Like I'm good to go. Whatever happens to me, I'm good to go. I had my rifle already with me. Canine already had heavy vests on that we wear every day. So armor plates in the front. And I remember pulling up. I remember somebody keying up on the radio says, hey, we're making entry right now. I remember pulling up. And as I pull up, I just hear gunfire, right? And it sounds, super close. I don't know if this person's in the parking lot. I don't know where this person is. I just see people. I remember seeing people hiding behind cars, adults, children hiding behind cars, ducking down behind cars.
Okay. Did you come up from Burton Hills?
Yes.
Entrance. Okay. Mm-hmm. Got it.
And man, this person is just laying hate, right? And I don't know where it's coming from, but I do know I have to get out of this car. I can't sit in this car for any longer than I have to. My mistake, but I opened the door and I'm stuck in my seatbelt, right? And so I pop my seatbelt, run off. As I'm running there, I see a supervisor's car there, not knowing that, but I go in the same way Rex goes in, right there by the the gym right there. And it's just another officer and me. He has a pistol. I've got a rifle. Him and I are going. So, I didn't know this at the time. I do now because I've watched my body camera footage. But as I'm running up and into the building right there by the supervisor's car, that's when they say, shoot her down, right? I never heard that. So as we go in, I then hear a supervisor say, we're taking fire from an elevated position. Now I'm inside the gym.
Okay.
There's some windows above me, and it's just me and this one officer. And I've never met him in my entire life. I have no clue who he is. So go in, and I'm watching these windows. There's 2 or 3 windows in front of me, and I'm watching these windows. Well, you're in a gym, so I'm already in bad shape. I'm telling him, I'm like, hey, check these doors right here. They're all locked. I go out straight ahead. There's a door right there. Go out, and there's a hallway. I turn right down the hallway. Like I said, him and I, he checks one door, but there's a large window. And I kind of clear the window. I check the door. It's locked. Go down. There's some bathrooms right there. He goes into the bathroom, come back out. Well, another group, maybe 2 or 3 guys come out. They're like in plain clothes. I don't know who these guys are. And they pop out. And so we kind of just form this makeshift team of, 5 people. We go down the hallway, and straight ahead of me is the door, and all the glass was broken, right? So I'm like, okay, well, there's something here, and you can smell it. Like, you can smell the powder in the air, the burn.
Did that end up being the door that she made entry on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So you guys, okay, I'm tracking now.
So I go down, and that one group that was with us, they're in front of me now. So there's probably 2 people, me, and maybe like 1 or 2 people behind me. Go through, cut in that little office right there, man. And that's where Mike Hill is.
It was the youth center, yeah, at the time, where the ping pong table was.
Yep. So that's where he's at. So the first 2 people in front of me go down to him. And I just keep on going, keep on pushing. Now I'm starting to hear some chatter, like hearing on the radio, like, okay, well, we have to secure the floors. We have to, check all the doors. And I love our administration to get to death, but a lot of chiefs and a lot of Indians, right? And we're all just trying to do the best we can. You've got a lot of communication going back and forth, right? So we push through. Gets a little fuzzy here or there, but I remember going upstairs and just trying to clear rooms, going into rooms. I remember going into a hallway where it has like the Hungry Caterpillar painted on the wall, right? And I just remember reading those books, right? And the images. And I remember me and another officer, we go into a room and there's just baby desks, right? Like 3 feet off the ground. It's empty, but just baby stuff, man. Baby book bags and baby chairs. And I remember saying to myself, please, God, no. Like, I don't want to find this. Go upstairs. Clearing upstairs, go down the hallway.
You remember which stairwell I went up?
I don't.
Yeah.
I know I didn't go up one stairwell in particular.
Sure.
Not on purpose. I just know I didn't go up that one. Where the 3 other victims were. I didn't go up that one. So, turn a corner, and down the hallway, and Dr. Kuntz was there. Same deal, man. Just kind of walked right by her. You turn another corner, and Miss Peak is there, and you're just trying to do everything you can to do right when you just have devastation all around you.
Mm-hmm.
I make my way to where the suspect is. Okay, there's a group of guys and officers and girls there. And so I'm like, okay, y'all don't need me here. We're going to the church, and it's large, so we clear it from bottom to top, and then there's at the very top to the left, there's like a room. You go downstairs. I mean, we were all over that campus. I come back outside, and now they want to set up like an RTF, like a rescue task force. I get volunteered for that to go back in with like paramedics and stuff. I don't remember which team I was on, whatever. And I remember seeing the original guy that I went in with. He, really dark-skinned guy, really, really dark-skinned. And I'm looking at him, and, everybody's quiet. Nobody's saying anything. And, we're probably 5 feet apart from each other, and he just has that stare, like just straight through you kind of stare. And I look, and down his arms, he has blood on his arms. His badge and his name, it was sewn in. He had like the polyester type. Mm-hmm. And you could see the blood through the silver. I'm like, hey, man, you okay? And I could see his eyes, or just the red, the tears in his eyes. And he says, no. His wife was also pregnant at that time. Him and I went in together. At some point, we separated. He went left, I went right. And he was one of the ones that found the kids. Mm. Picked him up, carried him to the ambulance. So I sat and talked to him for a little while. I didn't feel comfortable with my knowledge and expertise to leave him or to even have that conversation with him at that time. So I went and found one of our behavioral health guys to come sit with him. So since I was on this rescue task force, we went back inside, tried to find, more kids, try to pull out, other students, teachers, wherever they were hiding, try to help with that.
Most of the audience knows, I think, well, that's not true. Well, that's probably true. The majority of the audience probably understands our connection to Covenant, and but just 30,000 foot view of that is my personal relationship is that Catherine was obviously a friend of mine, and the Kennys, who are Will Kenny's family, the little boy that was killed, are personal friends of mine. And plus, as you know, we'd done training on this topic for that faculty and staff a year to the, I don't know if you know, it was a year to the day.
Yeah, the day.
Which is, anyway, eerie, but it's a really special group of people because of, how well they executed. Now, I mean, obviously you guys did an incredible job when you got there, but, at the end of the day, it was still, for 14 minutes, it was the teachers versus that gunman. And that's a lot. But what people, and we briefly talked about this off air, but you mentioned this earlier, going into that classroom. What people don't understand and it's so hard for us as first responders, like or probably even you guys, to be honest with you, like when you go to a certain scene, you expect to see certain things, right? Things go together. If there's a V-bid that goes off for you guys, you expect to see trauma and gore, and like, even if it's kids, it sucks, but it goes together. Mm-hmm. What doesn't go together in my brain, and obviously yours either, is the backpacks and the sippy cups and the water bottles and the hungry caterpillar and blood and brain matter and bullet holes and shattered glass. Like, those don't go. They don't compute. Like, I don't, and I spent a couple days in that building afterwards. And that's why, like, I still have a hard time with all that, because it just it'll never go together. It should never go together. Things you should never see in the same space. End of story, right? Like, you shouldn't ever see those things. But they're real. And off air, I want to kind of bring it up that so Cynthia Peak and the 3 kids were all killed. They're almost touched. The kids are touching each other, and Cindy is within arm's length of those kids. And, you know, the only reason that, and I know I told you this off air, but the only reason you didn't see those kids, well, there's 2 reasons. One, y'all just happened to go up a different stairwell. Thank God for you and your mental health. But also, by the time you made the loop and came around past Catherine and got around the corner, some officers had scooped the kids up and had evac'd them to ambulances. And that obviously happened really quick. When you went back in as part of the RTF team, were you able to kind of compartmentalize and just, I mean, tell me about that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I would say definitely like compartmentalize it. Right. And they would ask me like, okay, well, where is this and where is that? But my brain was in such a fog right then that I couldn't tell them anything, right? Like I could probably retrace the steps if we went in the same way that I went, but we went into, I guess, basically the main, and I have no idea where that is, right? Like everything's backwards and it looked upside down in almost different colors to me, right? If we had gone in through the gym, I can retrace my steps then. But I was no help to those guys, you know, in the fire department and those guys. They're looking at me for answers. So I'm like, man, I wish I could tell you.
Well, that place is a maze anyway. I mean, it's like without all that stuff. I
Sure.
mean, it's just, I mean, I remember walking it the first time with Catherine and Ben, and I'm just like, it's a maze. And, you know, at the time, the church and the school were one big conglomerate.
Right.
I mean, there was no separation between the two. So basically the school was the church and the church was the school building, like that, like
right.
all that. So hence you guys clearing everything. There was no separation. And she went all those places. I mean, she went school, church office, church sanctuary, back to school, you know, Narthex area where she ended up ambushing you guys as y'all were pulling onto the property, and just all the things. But, so how soon, well, you did the RTF thing and then eventually unplugged and came back out and
I came back out. So they, as in our administration, wanted anybody that was on scene while the gunfire was going on, whether it be from her or from the police, to stay there. So I went back, got my phone, you know, and text my wife and my dad, like, hey, I'm okay. And so we had to stand by. We had to fill out some statements with some attorneys that came in. As soon as I left there, I went straight to my little girl's school. You know, and I remember talking with her principal, man, I just broke down in his office, right? Went down, stayed there with her once dismissal happened. I went back to the canine office, downloaded my body camera, and went home. So when you go home, you know, you and I have talked about it before, but like, I remember passing my daughter's bedroom, and I can't think of anything, but now there's 3 families here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you do? Do you shut the door and never go back in it again? What do you do? And I still think about that today.
Yeah.
But now here I am. And you kind of have to put that aside a little bit to be present at home. My wife did a great job. My next door neighbor, one of my really good friends, he was on scene and on the stage at Las Vegas. So we went next door and we kind of rode around on a side by side, and he kind of just gave me his story, which was great. But then, you come home and, you can't sleep and everything's just playing on a loop, right? Like, and Easter was, that Sunday, and like you're there with family and friends, and like you're not there, right? You're not present. You're just out in just a fog, and everything is a loop. It's just constantly playing over and over and over and over and over. And, like I've never met the victims, but I can't feel any more sorrow for them and pain for them. And you're just holding all this and on your shoulders. You're like, well, I should have got there faster. I shouldn't have been at the office. All that, all
sure.
stuff, So stuff.
I think from sitting through our program now, though, that there's nothing.
Correct.
Nothing could have changed any of it.
Sure.
I mean, it's too fast. It was under 3 minutes.
Right.
From her entering to Catherine being killed. It was the last one killed. There's just no, from a police response standpoint, there's nothing that would or could have changed that. Sure. You talk about having that feeling with, like, there's families that don't have the kids. We were out of town. We were at Tracy and I and Justin Coger. We're doing an assessment at a school in Memphis, and I told them, I'm like, we got another day. Like, we can't change anything in Nashville. We need to get back, but we can't change anything about what's happened. We need to finish what we're doing here. And Tracy was telling me she still struggles with this. She's like, I've never wanted to get home so bad to my kids in my life, right? Like, of course, we all felt that way, but then she felt terrible, right? Like, who am I to say that?
Right.
Because there's 3 families that don't have that. But I think it's just natural, right? I mean, obviously the parent in you and the caretaker in you, and then like those of us that are wired like us, the sheepdog in you wants to stand up and all this stuff. But I think one thing you hit on, and Collazo hit on it too when we interviewed him, that we are not doing a good job at in law enforcement. And maybe the military does a better job, I don't know. But we're not thinking about everyday life for you guys in and around these events, meaning somebody should have thought to step up and handle getting your kid. Somebody that has shot, like Collazo had, I'm not going to get into his whole story, but very similar experience did when he walked in this kid's school. Y'all shouldn't have been, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I understand you wanted to be, but like we collectively need to do a better job of thinking about that stuff and helping each other with that stuff, because it's not just, oh, yep, that just happened. I'm going to pick up my kid. Peace out. See y'all tomorrow.
Right.
What? No, because all the stuff you're talking about, playing in a loop still over and over and over again. Your brain and your body are still in that school.
Sure.
I mean, like, you still smell it, you still see it. Like days, weeks, months, depending on who you are and how you handle that kind of stuff and whether or not you get help. But I think, a kudos to the podcast culture, and shameless plug for Sean Ryan, and that he's really done a remarkable job of getting the mental health aspect out there and talked about more that we've not done a good job with. I mean, we sent these guys off to the horrors of war for 20 years without a good enough plan to deal with that. And now we got this massive suicide among our veteran community. I mean, it's terrible, but we're not going to get better at any of it unless we talk about it.
That's right.
Unless we bring it up. And, your story collectively is super unique because most guys never get involved in a shooting. I mean, ever. I mean, that's just statistically true. Most guys and girls are never going to respond to an actual active shooter attack and actually see victims and deal with a potential suicide vest and all those things, and then respond to another one at a school that involves children and, to your point, little baby desks. And that's a lot, man. And you know it, and we've talked about it personally before. But I think depending on who listens to this and what would be some advice you would give from a mental health perspective to other officers, whether people that were in the building at Covenant, faculty, staff, church members, whatever, or to be honest with you, anybody that's gone through trauma, but especially the the sheepdog type, what would be some advice from you to them?
My personal life and really surrounding the police culture. I've been in a therapy setting since 2015, right? We're pushing 10 years. And it has completely saved my life, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily by my own hands, but some of the decisions that you make, and back, my dad was a Vietnam vet, right? Mm-hmm. And they were raised different. And some things you just don't talk about. Some things you just keep in. What I didn't, and he's not like this, but what I don't want to do is just blow up, right? I don't want to get so angry and just take it out on the people that you love the most. So I knew that I had to change. I had to do something because I could see my life going down that path very easily. And so to answer your question, you have to find, my opinion, a professional that understands the, not just what's going on at home trauma, but this kind of blood, guts, gore, like nasty trauma and what it does to you and how it affects you and what you can expect down the road. Like, hey, this can happen, that can happen. Metro does a good job with, behavioral health systems and critical incident debriefings and all that stuff. I think it comes up a little shy of, okay, we will surround you right now, but in 2 months you're on your own, right? There's not very much, hey, let me check on this guy. We have peer supporters at Metro, but they still basically, like, if I needed someone, I almost have to reach out, right?
Right.
It's not, there's a lot of, hey man, how you doing? Like, I'm good. And then that's it. All right, cool. If there was some problem, he would have told me, right? It's not like that at all, especially in police culture, even in just guys in general, right? So find someone that you can trust. That's a big deal, right? Find someone you can trust that you can talk to. That's why one reason I think Sean O'Brien, have become so close so we can trust each other. We've been through so much of the same stuff, whether it be personally, professionally, all that kind of thing. And, your family value at home, having a good support system, whether it be, whoever it is, a friend, but, a church member, a pastor, but you have to be able to unload that on someone in a safe environment, right? And so that would be my answer to that question, is to find someone, a professional who understands that thought process and what you went through. And one thing I struggled with is, man, you can sit across that table on that couch and you can hear what I'm saying, but you never walked in those shoes. You don't know what I'm saying, right? Like right. When people would be like, hey man, I understand, like, you don't understand. You might be able to hear me and read a book and can like say, hey, this is what's going on in your brain, but you don't understand what I'm talking about. And so I also, with me, with the behavioral health side, I also have those super close people that I can rely on who have been in those shoes and who can understand what I'm saying. And if I do have a bad day, I can call them at 3 o'clock in the morning and they'll answer the phone. Same thing with me. Right. Yeah. So you got to find that good balance.
Yeah, I think, we haven't done a good job at that. And it's almost, it's the same in any kind of tragedy, right? Like unexpected death, whatever, with the family gets surrounded and loved on and poured on and all those things for whatever week and a half after the funeral. And then it's just, boom, gone.
They've got their life to go back to too. It's like, I'm not mad at them, but
right.
We also have to take care of the people that we were taking care of.
Well, and I think for right now, the best way to handle that is us as the people in this culture that I'm talking about here, the three of us sitting at this table and that entire culture of that type. We need to hold each other accountable, be doing it for ourselves, because nobody else is going to make us do it. Nobody else is going to so the follow-ups, the month from now, the 6 months from now, the year from now, the bro check, not just, hey man, how you doing? Hey, let's go grab lunch.
Right.
Like take an action step, that I'm doesn't matter who. I told y'all off air. I'm not going to mention it on here, but I'm doing that very soon with somebody very close from Covenant who has significant trauma, and like we got to do that. I mean, we got to be able to step up for each other because the system's not going to do it. The system has improved. I think we would both agree. Military, police, all. I think it has improved, but at the end of the day, it's never going to be perfect. The system's never going to think about, I need to go take care of getting your kid picked up and just letting you get to the house.
Right.
Like we got to do that collectively as like for each other. And I think that people need to think about that stuff more often, which is the whole point of why we have these kind of episodes, is to kind of bring that stuff out anyway. But I do appreciate you being here. I know it's heavy. It's heavy. I mean, I feel it, but your story is really unique. And the fact that you've, I mean, not just survived, but you've thrived through it because you're smart enough to know, hey, I saw a very dark road. I'm not doing that. And you took it upon yourself to kind of say no and not be afraid to do the things you need to do and come on here and talk about it to however many people listen to this. I think it's huge. So I do appreciate it like a ton. You doing this. I know it's a lot to unpack. It was a lot for Sean to unpack again. I mean, it's just reliving the crap, as you know, from sitting through the training we do. I relive it multiple times a week, or at least Covenant. And that part sucks, but there's too many important things to talk about, to improve life for us and each other and society and all the things, to not talk about Covenant, not to talk about your experience, not to talk about what we talked about today. So I think the biggest thing for me is piggybacking on your advice is especially you guys that are out there listening, like we need to hold each other accountable, but we also need to hold ourselves accountable for checking on each other. And that's one thing I don't think we do well enough, but it's always going to be room for improvement no matter what.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think, for me, for instance, is I want to fix everything, right? Like I'm a fixer, right? Like, okay, well, what's the problem? I'll fix it. Like, let me know what to deal and I'll handle it. Except for me, right? Who's going to fix me?
Yep.
And like, because I'm not letting anybody else in on my life to help me fix me, right? So then it comes back on me. I have to take accountability in what I do, my actions, and I have to make sure that I'm the best person that I can be for the rest of my family and friends.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Amen. Well said. Well, thanks again for here and unpacking it. Guys, that's going to do it for this edition of Tips, Tactics, and Tools for a Safer Tomorrow. If you like what you heard, please subscribe. We'd love if you leave us a review as well. If you have show ideas or just want to learn more, reach out to us at info@tipstacticstools.com.